Okay. So, it's been a while since I've uploaded, okay? But there's been something that has been boiling my blood for not necessarily a long time. It's relatively been a short while. Alright, and that is, of course, now I'm gonna get a lot of comments. But this is going to be something that's going to be related to what was in the news, alright? That new Tyler Perry studio, alright? And the fact that he had the balls to say that the Confederate camp in Atlanta had plans on keeping black people slaves. Alright, so that particular camp was one of Robert E. Lee's generals, alright? So, Robert E. Lee is kind of like a field marshal at this period of time. He's the head, he's the 5-star, but he has smaller generals. That was one of his generals in that camp, okay? Now let's go ahead and demolish this myth. Alright, let's go ahead and tear this thing down. Yes, it's going to be one of those videos. Alright, now for anybody who knows me, I love the Civil War. And before I get comments saying, well, what about this, what about that? I've got, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I've got people wearing, I have people on both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. Alright? One of my ancestors actually was a Confederate field gunner, alright? He actually aimed the cannon, the field guns, alright? Then again, I've got a relative who was in the California Sharpshooters Division, alright? California was part of the Union at that time, so make of it as you will, alright? Now I've got people on both sides of the fence here, alright? Now I'm going to go ahead and tear this myth apart, that they were planning on keeping slaves. Tyler Perry said something along those lines. That told me right away, right off the bat, he does not know jack diddly shit about the Civil War. He does not know jack diddly shit about Robert E. Lee and what he was going to do if he won the war. Alright, obviously there were some generals who were pro-slavery in the Confederacy. But it wasn't like the Union was any better. Don't get me wrong. Alright? And I love it. People say that not Robert E. Lee. I love it. People say that Abraham Lincoln was non-racist. Bullshit. Bullshit. All right. Yes. And this is how he viewed it. All right. Oh yeah. Well, you shouldn't be slaves, but good luck getting anything else anywhere. I mean, you come up here, we're still gonna call you anything we want. Yeah, we got you out of slavery. Guess what? You're still going to be the target of attacks. Good luck. That was his view, literally. That's how I can dumb it down. Alright, and I'm going to put it, and for those who don't know what that means, he didn't view that, they shouldn't be slaves, but that's it. They shouldn't be slaves. Anything else you want to do? Hang them. Shoot them, hit them, or whatever. Alright? That guy's gonna get killed one of these days. Alright? No, you shouldn't be slaves, but I'll be damned to do anything else. That was literally how he viewed it, alright? So, about the camp. About how he put it on, for symbolism and this and that and this and that. It's only a shame that if he actually understood jack diddly shit about the Civil War, people would actually look at Robert E. Lee and say, he honestly wasn't that bad of a guy. Because I'm going to get hate for this from people who are uneducated. in the Civil War. Alright? Robert E. Lee was a profound abolitionist. He was an outspoken anti-slavery person. In fact, it was in his memoirs. Alright? Literally in his memoirs. And in his will. And every book he wrote. About how if he had the chance, he would gather an army and demolish every plantation, burning the houses in which the slaves slept, and burning down the houses for which the plantation owner slept, to make them sleep in equal bunkers, or sleep in equal quarters. Alright? He was by far one of the greatest civil rights activists, because he didn't view the black man as a slave. He did not view them as subhuman. He viewed them as humans. Alright? But nobody knows that. Want to know why? Because we got dipshits in California, and everybody who's a leftist is automatically a genius. Tell you what, go drink your soy somewhere elsewhere, buddy. Or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. Alright? Robert E. Lee, alright, if he won the war, and he said it, up until he died, if he had won the Civil War, he would have destroyed any army that opposed him. Because if he could destroy the Union Army and take their resources, what the fuck are 50 people with hunting rifles gonna do against an actual trained army? What the fuck are they going to do against, we have 10 people in a house. Well, okay, we have field guns, we have howitzers. If you're on the shore, so, if you live on the shore, prepare for coastal bombardments. That was literally what he was going to do. He was not just going to demolish slavery. If the KKK tried to rise up, what were they going to do? What were they going to do? Flip them the bird? Hey, fuck you. Yeah, they'll probably lose that finger because Robert E. Lee had some of the best shooters in the war. Okay? Does anybody else get where I'm going with this? Alright? And if there is a leftist who thinks that the Confederacy was all about slavery, let me put this in perspective. I'm going to go ahead and be the Union. You'll be the South. Okay, so I see you're making a lot of money, but guess what? We're gonna cut back. We're gonna do this. You're gonna have to give a lot of it to us. No, you gotta give a lot of it to us, man. Good luck, And they would just keep on adding taxes to in any ports, all right, to the north, no taxes. And they wouldn't even share it with the South what they made. No, but the South had to give 50% of everything they got. Okay, with the North, who really, they produced a lot of iron, but the South produced a lot of, at the time, produced 25% of the world's cotton. Alright? And rice. And indigo, because indigo is a color that comes from crushed up plants of the same name. There were, rice, cotton, tobacco, indigo, and a few other crops. What the North have? Iron. Nobody cares about iron at this period of time. The Iron Age passed. What they're looking for right now is fabrics, timber, stuff of that nature. Of course they're going to be buying iron, but not to the same extent. So do you understand? So to have, most of, half of your wealth pretty much, half of your income being chopped in half sent to your mentally retarded neighbor to the north, and for them to say, fuck you, yeah, guess what? We don't give a shit. How would you feel? Alright? How would you feel? Alright? And nevertheless, the North, when they were the aggressors here. They marched down in, all right. The battle, the Battle of Bull Run, the first Battle of Bull Run, that was in Southern ground. What? Not a lot of people understand that because their brains are literally the equivalent of leftist mush, or what do they eat? Actually, I don't know what they eat. They probably eat some kind of fucked up chemical in soy. All right, but this is and I love it. All right, that everybody who thinks they know anything, all right, unless they act, there are some outliers, right? There are some outliers, but most of the people on the left, when it comes to like the slavery, they think they know everything because their teacher in 5th grade taught them the bare shit basics. Yeah, compare that to ever since I was in 4th grade, I was in love with the Civil War. I never stopped learning about the Civil War. I've got books, right, in my room. I've got a day-by-day calendar. Battle maps, tactics, casualty lists, reasons why, reasons where, reason how. Where they have I don't know. I just heard. But seriously, Robert E. Lee, all right, if he won the war, he was going to smash through the slavery, cutting down and burning the plantation houses as he went. Wanna know why? What makes one man different from another? Nothing. He viewed that as he never owned slaves. His father, when asked why don't you have slaves, he said because a man is a man no matter what his race is. And then he shot the guy who cussed him out. Things were different back then. If that were true today, socialists wouldn't be in the government. And another thing, he said it was in Atlanta. You do realize that the Union Army that swept through there was so merciless. They were so evil that some of the plantation owners, they sent their slaves out just to get away from the repercussions. That was Sherman's army. William Tecumseh Sherman's army that marched, they made pretty much a loop, and then they got to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean. All right, that was William Tecumseh Sherman's army. He was no little angel either. He burnt down capitals in major cities as he went. Not just 1 or 2 houses, no. Not just, no. He burnt down city. He burnt down major cities, major towns, capitals as he went. But nobody seems to know that because they think they know everything. How do I know that? Well, because I'm a minor, I'm not the most knowledgeable of the subject. But I know more than the average left person does. Okay? And seriously, it's funny to me how they say that they know everything about the Civil War when they still think that the South fought for slavery. They didn't. They fought for state rights. There's a big difference between slavery and state rights. All right, and besides, once again, if Robert E. Lee won the war, racism would be put down in America hard. Not just slightly, no. Not just minorly. No, not like a little love tap, no. Like a pair of steel-toe boots. straight to the nuts. Keep that in mind before you open your fucking mouth. If you're, keep that in mind, leftists. Before you open your somewhat smart mouth about the Civil War, learn what you're talking about. I know what I'm talking about because I've got 30 books about the Civil War in my room that I have read to completion. Alright? I've got maps. I've got copies of maps. I've got copies of the original battle maps at that. One of these days I'll bring one down to show you, alright? I think I might show you the Gettysburg one, the third day of Gettysburg. I might not. I don't know where that one got to. Actually, I know where it got to. I just don't like bringing it out because my sister tore it, and it's not a major tear, but it's along one of the fold lines, and I'm not in the mood to lose it. Neighbor. But anyway, they don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the time when it comes to Civil War. I do. Alright? And I can go on and on about the different firearms used. I can go on and on about the battles. I can go on and on about Maury's Heights at Fredericksburg. I can go on and on about Pickett's charge, at Gettysburg. I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to. This video is pretty lengthy as it is, alright? Based on the fact it's a minor subject in some minds. For those who are curious, I am smoking a Camel Crush Menthol Light. It's okay. Not that much nicotine though. Still has that incredibly menthol flavor. Yeah, it's got that strong menthol flavor, so yeah. I think, and when I heard him say that, ooh, my blood nearly boiled. Some people say they saw steam fly in my ears when I heard that. This probably won't be a recurring theme. Alright? It probably won't, but if I see any more stupid things, I'll go into more depth. But I do love learning about the Civil War, and when he said that almost caused me to have a mental breakdown and anger. Like, it really got me pissed. You can ask my dad. I went into a 30-minute rant about how stupid of what he said was. A 30-minute rant. I'm gonna leave it there. It's almost 20 minutes at this period of time. See y'all later.